So I'm going to go over what a virtual event is like for attendees, for speakers, and for you, the moderator. So I'm going to first walk you through how the attendee is going to participate in the live virtual event. They'll visit the association's library and click on My Account, and then click on Events. The system will read them as a registrant, and they will click on Attend Event. From here, they will click on Live Sessions, and they'll click on Attend Session to participate in the actual live session. At another time, you can visit the event page and check out all the other features, including a social wall and a forum, etc. But for now, we're going to focus on what it's like when they're attending a live session. Once the attendees click on Attend Session, something called a player will open up. Now, the player will be branded for your association. So the association's logo will appear up here, and it'll have the same color and theme as your association. I'm just showing you what the structure of the player is like. Attendees can take notes over on the right-hand side, and these notes will be emailed to them later and saved in their account. They can chat with other attendees over here on the left-hand side. They can read session information here. They can participate in any polling questions that might exist here. And they can enter questions that will go to the speaker and to a moderator panel that I'll show you in a little bit right here. And they can download any resources that might be available here. If they need support, they can click on Request Support, and they'll open up a little message box with our tech team. So it's pretty straightforward for our attendees, and this is what it looks like. Now, it's important to understand that speakers will not be logged in to the player where the attendees are. Speakers will be logged into Zoom. So if you have used Zoom, then this will look familiar to you. Speakers will be logged into Zoom, and as a moderator, you will be logged in with them. The speakers will log into Zoom, and they will be sharing their screen. And Digitel, the company that we work with that produces our virtual events, will be taking the webcam, if the speaker is using webcam, that feed and the screen share feed, and pushing it out through that branded player that we talked about. So the attendees are not logged into Zoom. The speakers are logged into Zoom as a way to get the information out. So as a moderator, you'll log into Zoom with the speaker. Now, after you're logged into Zoom and all set, you'll need to log into the moderator panel. The moderator panel is where you'll see the questions that have come in from the attendees and whatever polling questions might be included in a session you are moderating. Not all sessions have polling questions. So you will receive a link that will bring you to a page that will have your particular association's conference information at the top and a list of sessions. You will click Sign in as temporary guest, and then when this box pops up, you click Continue as guest. And from here, you will enter your information, your first and last name, your email address, and then you click Submit. Then your screen will look like this, and you will click Moderator Panel for whatever session you are moderating. Not Enter Session, but Moderator Panel. Now, once you are in the Moderator Panel, what I would recommend is this. Adjust your screen so you have Zoom open on one side, and you have the moderator panel open on the other, like this. You can easily do that by dragging like this. It's also important that you keep the chat box in Zoom open. So to open that chat box, if you accidentally close it out, so let me close it to show you, you would just click on chat right there and it'll appear. And if during the presentation you accidentally closed it again, you could come click on more right here and add the chat box back. But you will probably need to use this chat box at some point to communicate to either a Digitel representative who will be logged in or perhaps the speaker. So you can just get Zoom and the moderator panel side by side, and you are the bridge between our speaker and our attendees. You'll see what's coming in from the attendees, and you can communicate that to the speaker. The Digitel technician handling your session and the speaker and you will go through run of show. So they'll say, okay, first our moderator is going to introduce the speaker. Then our speaker or speakers are going to present, do a screen share, etc. They'll talk about when the polling questions will happen, if it's going to happen throughout the presentation or right at the front end. And you'll also discuss how you want to handle Q&A. So generally speaking, we'll save the questions and answers for the last 10 minutes of the session. So at about 10 minutes of or 15 minutes before the session ends, if you don't see that there are any questions in this mod Q&A box, as the moderator, you can click on this little equal sign with an extra bar and click prompt for questions, and it'll say, are you sure you want to prompt attendees to post questions? And you'll click confirm, and that will remind the attendees that they have an opportunity to ask questions. Now, you can see here these questions are in, some say copied from chat, and what that means is this. Sometimes the attendees don't actually put the questions in the questions box, but they'll put them in the chat. We will have staff during the session taking anything that was a question that went into chat and pushing it to the Q&A panel for you. So the staff folks are going to be copying those questions to the mod Q&A panel for you. So you don't really have to worry about this chat, but it is available if you'd like to see how the attendees are communicating with each other, or if you wanted to communicate with them as well. But really, you can just focus on the Q&A. So at the end of the presentation, you will chime in and say, okay, thank you so much, Dr. Smith, and we have some questions from our attendees. So-and-so is asking such and such, and you'll read the question. It's very important to remember that once attendees put their questions in, they no longer see them. So you have to read the question because the speaker will likely not be in this moderator panel and the attendees won't see it. You'll see it. So make sure you read the question, and then as the questions are answered, there will be a staff person removing them from the queue for you. If you happen to notice that perhaps one is there that has already been addressed and it wasn't removed, you could right-hand click and hide it. So that way you're only seeing the questions that need to be addressed. But as I said, there should be a staff person removing them for you, so you don't need to worry about it. Now, if there are polling questions for your session, when it is time to discuss them, and if the speaker wants to know the results during the presentation, so he or she can address them and speak to them, you'll click on the Polling Admin tab. Digital will run the polling questions for you, and you'll see the results in this screen here. So if the speaker would like to actually address the polling questions, when it's time for them, you can say, okay, Dr. Smith, 65% of our attendees have responded as such. This toast chat is a spot where the hosts, so staff and digital representatives and yourself, can communicate to each other. But you probably don't need to worry about that at all. You'll see the other staff person who is helping with the session in there. If you need to communicate to digital, you can do so in this Zoom chat here. I'll also note that if something funky is going on during the session, you can right here change who you want to send a message to and send a private message to a digital tech to say, hey, is everything going okay? Or ask them whatever you need to. And that way you're not distracting the speaker while they're presenting. Now, the other thing to consider is that in that 60-minute window, when you are logged in and getting everything set, if your speaker seems very comfortable with technology and wants to look at the polling question results and wants to be able to see the questions that have come in, it is okay to give them access to this moderator panel. Digital or yourself can send them the link to the moderator panel via email, or even just put it in this chat here, and you can walk them through how to get to the moderator panel. I have moderated some sessions where the speaker wants to see the polling question results as they come in to address them. I would not recommend offering this to a speaker who is very uncomfortable with technology. In that 60-minute window, you have to feel your speaker out. Your speaker also might say, well, I'd really like to hear what questions are coming in through the presentation. And if that's the case, well, during the presentation, you can copy questions and put them in this panel for the speaker to view if the speaker is comfortable with that in looking at the chat. So before the session begins, you can talk to the speaker. The plan is that you save the questions for the end and you read them to the speaker. But you can sort of play it by ear, feel out your speaker, and find out what will work best for your session. And just make sure you're on the same page with the speaker before you begin. And that's what that 60-minute window is for. As a moderator, this moderator panel, you can open any window at any time to view whatever it is you'd like, and you can close all the windows and just have one open at a time. So play around with that, get comfortable with it, and if you have questions, please do reach out.